Good morning, world. In honor of Mental Health Awareness Week, I will be posting a few videos just talking about different things about related to mental illness that I feel everybody should know. And for to start with, we're going to start with something that has always been sort of a thorn in my side, if you would say, something that has bothered me that our society does, and that is the fact that over the last few years, people seem to be using a lot more mental illnesses to describe unacceptable behaviors. So when somebody does something that is not acceptable, instead of just qualifying the thing as what it is, something stupid or something ridiculous, they will use different mental illnesses to instead of the appropriate word. So I will go through today we're going to go through 5 things that people tend to use mental illnesses to describe, but that really are not. First and foremost, that always gets to me is idiocy or stupidity or ignorance. Those are not mental illnesses. I promise you, they have updated the DSM and they still did not make it. If somebody is an idiot, that is not a mental illness. And if somebody is saying ridiculous, stupid things, those are not mental illnesses. If someone is ignorant, those are not mental illnesses. So I really, 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 really implore people to not use things words such as retarded, because mental retardation is a serious issue. And although when you look at the fact that it's only 1% of the population that is affected by it, when you look at 1%, it may not seem that high, but when you look at the size of the population, we are looking at thousands of people who are impacted. And really, these people have more than enough to deal with. They do not need to get lumped in with some fool that that just chose to be ignorant about things, who chose not to know better, who just opted not to do better. So please start using retarded or whatever other words that are being used out there to describe stupidity. If somebody's being stupid, call them stupid. Say, you know what, you're a stupid idiot or you're ignorant. Don't say things like retarded or whatever other words that are being used right now, because mental retardation is something serious. And the thing is, people who suffer from mental retardation, a lot of them are very hardworking. They may not have the capacity to learn as much as every other person, but whatever capacity that they have, they use it. They try hard. They are hard workers. They do a lot. And the ignorant stuff that I hear people saying today, that we're quantifying as retardation, those people who actually do suffer from mental retardation would not be caught dead doing this, because they go what mental capacity that they have to learn, they use that, unlike people who can do a lot better who just choose not to. Another one is when we call that inconsiderate, manipulative person bipolar. For example, you have your boss who's nice to you when she needs you and is rude and aggressive and all sorts of manipulative stuff when she no longer needs you. That person does not suffer from bipolar disorder. That person is rude. That person is inconsiderate. That person is manipulative. Use your words. People who suffer from bipolar disorder have a very distinct pattern where they go from highs. The high is when that person feels invincible. They have higher energy level. They are super productive. That person can go days on end without sleep or needing to stop to breathe or rest. That they are up at 100 or 180, and then eventually they crash to that very low level of depression. So a person who's being manipulative and inconsiderate, that person does not have bipolar disorder. That person is manipulative. That person is rude. That person is inconsiderate. Because a person who's suffering from bipolar disorder is not going to be the one taking advantage of you. They will, on the contrary, they'll be the one helping you, because they feel so strong and powerful when they're at their manic state that they can move the world. They'll be the life of the party, the hardest working person on the group, the best person to be with, the one who's buying drinks and dancing on the table and things like that, and then they go into that depth of depression. So that is bipolar disorder. Highs, super highs, and super lows. Not rude and considerate. So when your boss or your friend is being manipulative and being one moment and being rude and ignoring you, and then turns around and is nice to you because she or he needs you, call that person what it is: a manipulative or inconsiderate person. It's not bipolar. And of course, the jerk who's aggressive is not suffering from psychosis. That person is just being a jerk. They're being rude. They're being aggressive. Their actions are erratic. Their actions are unacceptable. So call it that. That's not, don't say it's not psychotic. Psychosis is an actual condition. The person is not really able to control it. Your jerk friend, he can control it. He just does not care enough to do that. He just doesn't think that whatever the situation is worthy of him controlling his actions, is worthy of him being a better person. A person going through a psychotic break does not get that choice. He doesn't get to control the things that he's doing. That's what makes it a psychosis. So when your friend is being a jerk, when your friend's actions are unacceptable, your friend is being aggressive, call him that. Stop being a jerk, dude. It's not psychotic. He's not acting psychotic. He's acting like a jerk. So when the person is being rude, tell him, you're being rude. That's not psychosis. It's rudeness. Irresponsible people. I don't know why suddenly we think that because the person is irresponsible, the person doesn't do what they're supposed to do, suddenly we can say that they have ADHD or they have ADD. No, that person has nothing wrong with them. They're just choosing not to do what they know they should be doing. The person is being irresponsible. They are not living up to their responsibilities because for whatever reason, hey, maybe you're not worth it. Maybe the situation is not worth it to them. But it's not a mental health condition. People with ADHD do have a very difficult time controlling staying on task. They have a difficult time focusing. But that's not because they choose not to or because they're not trying. People who have ADHD literally cannot control it until they get to the point where they are medicated and they have the right routine and they've gone through and done all the behavior modifications necessary to get things together. But when your son, your brother, your friend, your spouse is being irresponsible or inconsiderate, it's not ADHD. It's an irresponsible little brat that needs to grow up and do better. So call it that. People with ADHD have enough issues to worry about. They don't need your irresponsible friend. And of course, when people just get out of control and they just seem to say whatever they want and bust out and just don't worry or care about the rest of the world, when they seem to express such a lack of self-control, I've heard people use Tourette's. Seriously? No, that's not Tourette's. That's your friend, your child, your spouse, or whoever it is, choosing not to control themselves, not to be better because, hey, maybe you're not worth it to them. Maybe the situation is not worth it. So accept that and make the person take responsibility. You're being out of control because you don't want to be in control. A person who suffers from Tourette's, yeah, they do burst into whatever behaviors and they're not able to control it until they're on their medications and they have everything working. But your friend, spouse, child who's out of control because he just wants to be out of control, please don't give them another excuse. And that's what we're doing when we start classifying unacceptable behaviors with mental illnesses. We're giving the person an excuse. We're saying, you know what? I know you're an idiot, but it's not your fault. Yes, it is your fault. I know you're ignorant. Yes, it is your fault. It's not retardation that somebody is ignorant. It's somebody who chose other things to do with their brain power over learning whatever it is that they should have been learning. So please stop giving people excuses. Stop giving them a free pass. Hold people accountable. If you know you can do better, if you see that person and you know that person can do better, stop giving them a free pass. And you know what? People with mental illness have enough to worry about. They have enough of a hard time dealing with life and all these things they have to put up with. They don't need all these other people who know and should and can do better, who are just choosing not to do better. So people who suffer from mental illnesses are just like you and I. They are the friends, the neighbors, the teachers, they're in most professions that we can think of. They are the hardworking friends and colleagues that you and I have. They are the family members, the parents, the friends of people that you and I know and hang out with. They are the wonderful people who contribute so much to the world and do not need to be associated in any way with people with unacceptable behavior. When you know somebody who's behaving unacceptably, please call it that, an unacceptable behavior. Describe it as what it is: rudeness, ignorance, jerkiness. Don't lump them in with people suffering from mental illnesses, because these are wonderful people contributing a great deal to our society. They don't need that person to be associated with them. All right, so coming off my soapbox now, that's all we have for today. Good morning, world. Have a great day.